Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, everyone. Welcome. Feel like we were just here last week, right? Yeah. Welcome, everyone. And hello to Zoomers. Thank you for being here with us again, once again. Anybody new here? I don't believe so. And to anyone that may be new on Zoom, welcome. So, the theme of the month is really soul meditation. We're going to get into this thing that we've been talking about forever, the soul. And what do we know here? I'm going to keep this very short because we have a long program, but we always say you're not your body, you're the soul. The body dies, it's the soul is eternal, right? But like if I lift my hand, what's lifting my hand? Don't have to answer. Like, what is the job of the soul and what is the job of your body? And you can't function in the world without a body. So we have to take care of our bodies. But our souls are ineffable. We can't describe it in words. And, Christianity, I believe, believes that the soul is something that is eternal and death is a transition to, right? Do I have that right? Okay. And the Buddhists believe your soul dissolves into the great beyond. So everyone's got a different theory about soul. So tonight, not only are we going to learn the Brahman, which we believe is the real deal, but we're going to have Brother Eric talk to us about clearly defining this wonderful thing that really does separate us from lifelessness. And more than that, that is responsible for our personality, consciousness, thinking. So things we think come from the brain. It's a little questionable. So we'll let Brother Eric clear all this up for us today. Okay? Are you ready? And you all know Brother Eric very well. In his other life, he was an not architectural, right? Engineer, architectural engineer. Okay. So I leave you with in the good hands of Brother Eric and Shanti.
Shanti, good evening. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming there. Um, it's springtime, and you have the great opportunities to experience kind of the weirdness that you can go out and be in the shadow and it's chilly. And you can take a step and be in the sun and you're warm. Same is true in this hall. When the afternoon sun comes in, if you're sitting in the sun, you're going to get warm. And if you're sitting outside of the sun, it's a little cooler. So just so you know that you're in charge of the temperature in the hall. You just have to move. And if it's on your face and you love it, then enjoy it. If it's on your face and it's annoying, then figure it out and move. Is that okay? Are you happy being in charge of the weather inside here? You're comfortable with that? All right. We have our own little struggles. Oh, it's too cold. Oh, it's too hot. And then it's 90 degrees and it's 30 degrees. And so it's a little bit of a challenge. So I hope you're comfortable. And I hope what we practice and talk about tonight is going to take you out of any kind of discomfort and bring you into a state of bliss. That's my goal. How's that sound? Okay. Um, we are able to hear things and we are told things, but we're living now in a environment where we're told all sorts of things that conflict. Okay. Um, I had to check out something and I was on the YouTube internet and was looking up something and they said, these are the best things, five best, whatever it was. And then I said, oh, that's interesting. And then they have other items that come up right after that. If you like this one, you'll like these. And then it says, these are the five things you must avoid. And it's like, well, you can pretty much find something to confirm whatever you want to believe. Do you have that experience now? It's if you have a thought, if you have a belief, you will find someone who will say, "Yep, you're right. That's true. That's true." And so just being able to think about something isn't always the best way to confirm it. Because you're watching all the time people who have a way of thinking and a logic that are quite contrary, but they're both comfortable in where they end up. And so it's very confusing. This is the best thing to do, and this is the best thing to do. And they're total opposites. So just hearing something and thinking about it might not always be sufficient. So wanted to talk about our topic tonight, the soul, which sometimes is considered the first lesson of Raja Yoga meditation, and see if we might not have to think about it, but to see if we might be able to come to a conclusion based on our experience. And I'm going to ask you to participate in creating your own experience. Are you willing to do and have some fun tonight? You're supposed to shake your head. Okay, great. All right, we're all in it now. This is going to be easy, but just want to see if we can breathe, right? I don't want to put too much pressure on you. You've been doing it for a long time. You've been doing a good job of it too, all of you. I've been watching, you know, but just want to take a deep breath and feel that and exhale. Okay, not so hard, right? You can do that. And now I want you to take another breath, and this time be aware of the temperature of the air coming in. One deep breath. And exhale. Were you able to do that? Okay. Was it hot or cold? Okay, it's relative. Okay, could you feel it? Okay, that's great. I want you to now take another deep breath, and this time feel what happens inside of you, your lungs. Actually, we're going to do it 3 times. 3 seems like a lucky number right now. So we'll take 3 deep breaths and concentrate and focus on what's happening inside of you. Ready? Deep breath. Hold it for a second or two. Exhale. Another second. Deep breath. Concentrate on what's happening inside you. Hold it for a second or two. Exhale. One more. What's going on inside? Okay. That's an experiment. You all were breathing. I can still see that you are breathing. Any thoughts? Just what was happening there? Could you feel the temperature? The first one. Could you identify or describe what happened when we did the 3 deep breaths to what's going on inside? What happened to your body? Were you aware that you were breathing? Did you feel anything? Did you concentrate? What happened? They expanded you, and you felt that, right? There you go. When you pay attention, the more you look, the more you see. Okay. The more we're aware, the more we're aware. Gesundheit, I think. But you could feel that, right? There was a connection. When we were breathing, we have a sensation, temperature, what's going on around us, all sorts of different things. Because we're using our senses. And we're going to use the ability to create thought. And as Sister Louise mentioned, there's a connection between how we use our body and how we think about that. And we're going to see if we can breathe easily, simply, but actually see if we can send the thought to parts of our body and to see if we might be able to transform it. And that's an complicated way of saying we're just going to try to relax. And one of the principles that I find useful is if you've ever been around little children, maybe 3, 4, 5, could be adults. Um, sometimes they act that way. But if you have ever been around them and they're doing something and they're creating something and they paint something and they're very proud of it, what do they typically do then? They show it to you. Okay. Oh, look at this. Look at what I did. Look at what I did. Mommy, look, look, look. Have you ever seen that kind of a situation where there's this pulling? There's this kind of a tension or an energy or something that's unresolved. And so what does the parent do when they see it? Oh, look at that. That's so beautiful. That's wonderful. You did something great. And then what does the child do? They feel acknowledged and they have been heard and they kind of let go of that tension energy and they relax. They go on and do another one. And then 5 minutes later, they come back and say, look good, look good, look good. But when you acknowledge, when you have that awareness that you have seen something, the tension in that situation relaxes. Does that make any sense? You ever seen? And so I'm going to see if we can use that principle for our physical body. We're going to give it attention. We're going to acknowledge it. We're going to focus, put some energy on different parts, our toes, our knees, whatever it's going to be. We're going to let it relax. So I want you to take a deep breath again. And exhale. And just see if you can follow along. See if you can become aware and concentrate and focus your energy. I want you to take it down to your feet. See if you can feel the ball of your foot. If you have 2 feet, see if you can move each of your toes. Just concentrate on how those are connected. Put some energy there and let it relax. Just let it be. And move up your physical body. Come to your calves, shins, lower legs. See if you can focus on the muscles there. Have your awareness. Focus there. You can move them around if you need to. And let it go. Acknowledge it. Let it go. Move up into our thighs, our seat. How comfortable is the seat you're in, the chair you're in? Become aware of that. Look at your thighs. See if you could put some tension into your thighs. And let it go. Feel the relaxation. You acknowledge that. Like myself, oftentimes when we sit, our hands are in our laps. Make fists. Feel what tension is. And then let go. Feel the relaxation. You've acknowledged it, you felt it, and now just let it go. Come up into your midsection. Feel your stomach, your back. You can sit up a little straighter. Take a deep breath. What happens? Feel the lungs expand. As you exhale, acknowledge that part of your physical body. Let it relax. Come up to your shoulders, back, chest, neck. I just have to crack my neck when I say that. Put your attention there. Awareness. This is part of the physical body. How does it feel? Kind of acknowledging everything. Scanning if you want. Another deep breath and let everything just be acknowledged, relaxed, fade away. Come up to your face, your head, your skull. Feel your ears, your nose, eyebrows. And just if you can, feel the total relaxation of your physical body. Nothing is pulling you. Everything has been acknowledged. And go deep into the feeling, the freedom of any kind of influence from the outside. See if you could just concentrate on how it feels to be relaxed, peaceful, quiet. Excuse me for interrupting the quiet, but hold on to that feeling as long as you can. And while you listen some more, kind of want you to draw your awareness in a little different direction. What's been happening? What's been going on in the last couple minutes? Words have been spoken, sound has been heard, ideas have been shared, and instructions by you have been given to yourself. And so we were breathing, we could feel that. We were listening, our ears were engaged, our eyes were engaged. We were pretty much focusing on a lot of our physical senses. You okay with that? Everybody breathing fine, feel relaxed, acknowledging. It's fairly simple. Well, we're going to try to do another experiment, a couple more. Are you okay with these experiments? Are they challenging? Still breathing? Are you okay? We're going to try a couple other things and see where that might take us. Because one of the aspects that I like to try is to have you use your intellect, choosing thoughts, and to choose a thought about someone in your life. I want you to feel that there was someone in your life who cared for you, somewhere along the lines. And when I say someone in your life, someone's going to pop in, picture, name, someone you knew. And whoever comes first, just hold on to that. And this person came into your mind because of something they did. They gave you a cookie, they taught you, they helped you swing a golf club. They did something that made you feel cared for. And I want you to go back to that moment and see yourself in that same place with them, where they were doing what it is that you remember that they did. They made you feel cared for. See that picture. Go back to that moment. And connect to the experience. How do you feel? You're seeing someone doing something they're expressing their care. There's a feeling of love. And now see if you can separate that feeling from the picture. Just focus in on how they made you feel. You were cared for. You were being loved. You have that awareness of that experience. And now move completely into that feeling. Let that grow inside you. Concentrate your thoughts only on the experience being loved. And from there, we're going to do another one similar. And think of a time when you were really happy, laughing. Who were you with? What did they say or do? See if you can bring another scene, person, picture into mind. Someone is sharing their joy. And move into that experience. Maybe different scene, different person, different results. So you can see that picture and use that as a way of entering into the experience of joy. Now focus only on the experience that was given to you. Happy, content, joy. And sit with that for a couple moments. So you've been breathing, been acknowledging, you've been happy, and you've been loving. Does that sound about right? Did you get close to being the feeling of love? Goods can move. Yeah. You pictured someone, you could feel it. That was an entry point into that experience. Yeah. Could you feel it was a little quick, the joy? Could you remember that? Could you feel that? Okay. So maybe you didn't acknowledge your neck and it doesn't move so well, but that's okay. Why not contrast those two experiments? Because when I talk, you're using your ears. When I move my hands, you're using your eyes. There is something about you with your senses, physical senses, that you're aware of. You know the connection of things. But you also, if I can believe your head nods, were able to have a thought and create or connect to something that wasn't through your senses. You were able to tap into, you were able to create, you were able to access, you were able to somehow engage with things that don't exist in the physical world. Peace, love, joy, happiness. Those are non-physical. Because someone who can't see can still be happy. Someone who can't hear can still be loving. Someone who might have challenged physical senses can still connect to the beyond the senses experiences. And one way to look at those is there's the physical part that we've been playing with, And then there's the beyond the physical, metaphysical or spiritual. And it's been my experience to think about those two things, that there is something about me that's able to connect to both. I have eyes and I have ears, I have senses for temperature. There's a mechanism to interact with the physical. And my logic is that there must be a mechanism to interact with the metaphysical. So there's a physical part of me, simply called, we call that the body, and that there's a metaphysical part of me. And if I can trust my own experiences, that somehow I have the ability to connect to metaphysical, transcendent experiences, peace, love, happiness. Did anybody see the peace come into the room? Did anybody feel the joys that kind of whoosh into your head? Doesn't work that way, does it? But there must be something that allows us to be able to engage with that. And so my understanding and kind of thinking about it is that there is two parts to me. There's the physical that we mostly get caught up with. And there must be something spiritual about ourselves. There must be some sort of mechanism that allows me to experience qualities that are not physical. We call that the soul. And when we put those two together, we see that there's life. And you are all alive, you are all breathing, you are all kind of engaging with that and playing with both aspects all the time. And it's been my experience that when I focus more on how I want to be, how I want to feel, I automatically transition my awareness from a limited, what do I see in front of me, into a, how can I connect a thought to an experience that I like? And this is a real big, important question, fundamental in the practice of meditation for me. What do you want? What do you really want? And not an external, but it's real simple. If you were taking a true or false quiz on a magazine, have you ever had these? Well, find out what kind of a pasta lover you are. Answer these 5 questions. Do you like tomato? Do you like creamy? But if you had these questions, see if you can come to a conclusion. Would you rather be happy or sad? You don't have to tell me. It's private. Would you rather be peaceful or tormented? It's an either or, sorry. Would you rather be healthy or miserable? Okay. We don't have 5 questions. This is a 3-question quiz. Did you answer those for yourself? I bet I can guess which ones you chose. I just have this, third sense, sixth sense, 25th sense. I don't know. But I have a feeling I can guess of those choices where you and most people would be. And if you chose the ones that seem to be a little less attractive, we can talk afterwards privately. See what's going on there. But yeah, we are made in a way that we like peace and happiness and joy and contentment. Because that's who we are. That's our nature. That's our quality. One way to think about that is that I always try to put some water here. How many brought water tonight? Two? Okay. It's very common, right? Why did you bring water? You get thirsty. Okay. Can you describe thirst? Yeah. Throat feels dry. Okay. And what happens if you don't drink water? You want to drink it. And if you don't drink water, what happens? You get dehydrated. And what is the experience and sensations of being dehydrated? It's not good. Okay. Have you ever been really dehydrated? Your thinking is there, you get weak, you're disoriented. Okay. You're getting all sorts of signs that something's not right. And the sign of thirst is to do what? Drink the water. I hope these aren't big concepts for you. You know, I was like, oh wow, I never knew that. No, you get thirsty. There's a sign. What happens if you don't drink water for a week? You would die. Okay. That's why it's good to carry water and drink water because what are you mostly physically? Water. What percent did you learn in biology? Okay. 90, 70, different parts, different things, but 70, 80% of water, right? You are mostly water. And so when you start to lose water, you get a sensation that you are not the way you should be. And what's the sensation called? Dehydration and thirst. That's right. And so it's like you've learned that something's not right. I drink water. Well, the best thing you can do if you're ever confused or tired, have some water. Free advice. Drink water because you are bringing yourself back to your natural state. And when we are out of our natural state, we get sensations that are telling us something is wrong. You get a thirst, you get a headache, you get this, you get all sorts of different things. And so we listen to that and we drink water. And when we drink water, we rehydrate, we saturate, and the body can work the way it's supposed to. Does that make some sense? You okay with that? So we have to listen to the signals about what is best for us, who we are, how we work, and how we can help with that. Drink some water. And if we start to look that there's a physical part to me, body we call it, and there's a metaphysical part to me, spiritual part, soul, and you can answer a quiz about what you want and what you desire, I want you to think about that. Because when we are thinking that I want to have a peaceful life, I want to have a happy life, I want to have a joyful life, what is that communicating? What is that telling you? That that's your nature. That's where you operate best. That's where you are meant to be. You are meant to have a full capacity of hydration physically. And you are meant to have a full capacity of hydration spiritually. Your nature is telling you, you know what you want because that's who you are. You know what you want because you have to drink the water because you don't like thirst. And so we get signals. We get amazing signals when we're thirsty, when we don't have enough water. And what are those signals? Dry throat, head, all sorts of things. I'm hoping you don't have to experiment this weekend by not drinking water to know what those are. I'm going to trust that you have enough life experiences that you can figure that out. But I want to see if that analogy works, that when I don't have enough water, I get thirsty, I get cranky, I get tired, I get lightheaded. And I've learned that those are signs that I am not doing what I'm supposed to maintain myself physically well. I drink water. Simple. But if we can start to hold on to the idea that there's a physical part that interacts with the physical, there's a spiritual part that interacts with the metaphysical. And if I know what I like, that's telling me who I am. And so, have you ever not been happy? Have you ever not been peaceful? Have you ever not been content or loved or joyful? Have you ever had those experiences? What is that telling you? How can we read those signals? It's the same as thirst. It's a spiritual thirst. There's something about ourself that isn't being nurtured well. It isn't being sustained. It isn't getting what it's supposed to get. And I need to somehow figure out how to drink peace, love, happiness, joy. That's what's missing. When I don't have the physical water in my body, I'm not myself. And if I go a long time without that, I die. Don't do that. If I'm unhappy, my natural state is happiness. You are able to access love and joy very easily in this room tonight. You experimented with that. You have the ability to go into yourself and feel your natural state of being. That's who you are. Those are your qualities. That's the nature of the soul. Peaceful, loving, happy. That experience is telling us this is how I'm supposed to be. This is my potential. But if I'm not listening to the signs that the world, the universe, nature is giving me, if I am unhappy, I have drifted away from understanding who I am, and I need to practice being happy. I need to drink some water. Just thinking, oh, I'm thirsty. Why is the world not giving me water? How come, there's no drinking fountain here? What's the point of that? Oh, I'm not very happy. This is what's going on. This is what's going on. You are taking away your ability and your power to take care of yourself. And when we think of Raja Yoga, first lesson is, who am I? I'm a being who is creating thoughts. I am a being who has the energies living in the world. It's a great gift. Take care of your physical, but I am also someone who thinks and accesses and has the nature of peace and love and joy. And I have the ability to choose a thought to nurture myself, to bring myself back to the qualities that are natural. And therefore, I can sustain myself with my thoughts. Who am I? Spiritual being, being of peace and love. And the meditation or the practice is just an awareness. How do I see myself? How do I engage in that? How do I bring those qualities in? How can I experience my natural state of being? Because your natural state is without any externals. And when you are a child and don't have any worries, don't have any homework, don't have any economic concerns, you're ready to play. Let me share my joy. Let me be happy. Let me be content. Let me feel the love. Let me share my love. It's just our natural process. But we start to get focused in on the limited, the physical, the outside. We start to worry about things and we become spiritually dehydrated. We need to take a break. We need to nurture ourselves. We need to have that awareness that this is who I am. And if you were here for the commentary, we start at 6:30 meditation, usually play a little meditation commentary, some words and such. And there was one by a brother, Anthony Stranda, who's quite quite talented in creating ideas that we can kind of follow along with and experience. And there was that concept of where we are. How do we interact? And when we were doing the experiment of someone who cared for you, you were feeling loved. Can you remember that? It wasn't that long ago. Remember that experiment?
Yes. Yes.
Huh? When we did it here in the room, you remembered someone, they did something for you, they did something that cared for you, were feeling love. We kind of focused only on that quality, right? Yeah. Where did you feel that? Where was that experience? Did you feel it? That there's somewhere that it emanates from. And if we can recognize that there must be ears to hear and eyes to see, there must be what we call an entity, energy, consciousness, soul, that is able to experience that. That is its nature, that is the experience. And so we're just kind of honing in on that. But when we start to say, well, how does that interact? Where would that be? My mind took me into a thinking process. Well, am I my fingers, the spiritual entity? No, I just cut my fingernails the other day. Okay. And it's still me. So the spiritual essence of myself isn't in my fingernails. Right. And I've seen people in my life who have lost legs, but it's still them. So the essence isn't in the legs, is it? Oftentimes people say when I was feeling joyful, it was in the heart or somewhere else, whatever it is. And that's all true and good because that's a lot of where the feeling is where we experience it. There's something that radiates. But there are people who've had heart transplants. Have you ever heard of that? Okay. If you've had it and you're still here, congratulations. If you haven't had it and you're here, I hope that your heart, the one you've got, is a part of it. But when a heart is taken out of a body and whatever it's done, something else is put in, it's still the same person, isn't it? I mean, they might have different experiences and different thinkings, but it's still them. So it's actually the way we interact with the world isn't through our heart. We might feel things there, but that's not where it emanates from. And you can go through that process, and pretty soon, the only solution to who I am and where I'm at is located somewhere in the brain area. And there's actually stories of people with born without brains and they can still function. I'm not quite sure of how that works, but that we are an entity that is beyond matter, that interacts through consciousness, that interacts through thought, that is connected to the physical body, and through thought, energy, spiritual consciousness, that energy can be transformed by the instrument we call the brain and the organs up there into physical, electrical and mechanical actions, hands move, things like that. And so Raja Yoga for me was understanding that I am the entity that is beyond matter, that I exist, that I have consciousness, that I have an awareness, that I have, excuse me, these qualities. Because I was brought up with the understanding that if you live a good life, that there's going to be a reward, that there's something beyond. And so I had learned this concept of eternity. And so it was easy for me that I'm a spiritual, eternal being whose consciousness allows me to interact with matter in this life, with this physical body. But my nature is peace and love and happiness. And the more I think about myself with those qualities, the more that power becomes available, the more that awareness makes me into the best I can be. A full, hydrated, spiritually functioning, spiritual being in a physical body interacting in this life. And that's our practice. That's the awareness. And you'd have done that. You were able to have a thought, relax your body, let the rest of the world just fade away, and your natural qualities reemerge. There was peace, there's relaxation. When we focus not necessarily on who we are, but we let go of the other things. When we focus on one thing, everything else melts away. Let me focus on my toes, world peace. Let me focus on whatever it is. The tension in the world disappears. World didn't disappear, but my experience is allowing me to tap into my original natural nature. And that confirms that this is who I am. This is how I can be. And therefore, let me hydrate myself through my thoughts, the spiritual qualities of the soul. I'm going to pause there. I'm going to stop there and see if there's any, with Sister Louise has a microphone, any thoughts or comments or questions or epiphanies or some sort of thoughts about these things. We have a few here and a few online. Hope you guys are doing well.
Hello.
Hello.
So on the subject of Raj Yoga, I had a really comforting thought. And once one of our senior teachers, I think, said that, you can't search for something that you never had in the first place. So we're all seeking constant love, happiness, contentment, purity, peace, all those wonderful inner qualities. Comforting thought is that, I was that. I have that. So I just need to rediscover it, which is to me a lot better than trying to find something that never existed.
That's right. We're looking for something that we've experienced and we're trying to reconnect with our state of truth. You don't search for something you haven't lost.
Lance?
Other thoughts, comments? Are you okay with some of the things that were mentioned? It's okay. Maybe nothing was new.
I'm very okay with these concepts. They make sense. Um, and I sometimes forget again when in life and circumstances, situations, but the way the way you described it, in terms of being dehydrated, which physically makes sense, and quench your thirst, take care of your physical body. Seems it's easy enough to do the same spiritually.
It should, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
When you're thirsty, do you have to kind of figure out what to do? No, you just get some water. This is how it is. When you're not content, do you know what to do? It's the same thing. It really is the same thing. This is how I'm feeling. I'm not feeling the way that I can. I'm getting a signal that my thought is taking me away from how I'm supposed to be. I need to change, adjust, do something with my thinking so that whatever thought is taking me away from that is acknowledged and replaced. And there's lots of things that come to us that have power if we let it. And so the practice of who I am, how I feel, what are my qualities, how do I see myself, how can I relax, how can I replace other thoughts? That practice is just kind of nurturing and drinking and hydrating. And so if I listen to how I'm feeling, I will know what to do.
And you are correct, it is a practice.
Yeah. And did you master the ability to drink water?
Yes,
Good job. Good job. All right. Success.
yes.
So on your right hip, you carry a little bottle of water, and on your left hip, you carry kind of a blessing or something like that. Oh, yeah. I'm supposed to be happy.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice way to present it. Hydration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone else want to share?
Thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you for all the wisdom and knowledge. I just wanted to say that sometimes we drift, like she was saying, especially human nature tends to ponder on the negative, how you hurt or what went wrong or who said what, or, all this garbage that's out there. And we have to really work at it. So I guess we have to hydrate and
Yeah.
step away from that and figure out a way to maybe, I don't know, exercise, walk in nature. That's what I do. Shut the news. I don't know.
Okay. There's lots of ways to drink water. You can get it out of a fountain, you can get out of a hose, you can put it in a cup, you can put it in your hand. Experiment, see what works. But listen to the self and know that there's a spiritual aspect that this is who I am. And I really am responsible to take care of myself. And it's through my own thinking. Who am I? What are my qualities? How do I want to feel? What's important? And practice that. It becomes a fun game, actually. Wow, this thought is coming. This is what's being presented. This is how I feel. How do I get out of this? What can I do now? And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, you've learned something else. Well, that didn't work. Let me try something else. Great. Any last comment?
Anybody? I know I can create a shift. There's power in me that I never knew I had. I always say till I came here. So I can willfully conjure up something, and it doesn't have to be physical like nature. It doesn't have to be music. It can be a memory, an experience, and the connection is so authentic because I've chosen it and I decided to think it. Does that make sense? I have that power. And sometimes, you know what? Sometimes I'm the victim and we don't feel like saying, I would rather take a nap. But when I can, the power is waiting for me. Right? Do you want to say something? Oh, nap. This is our official
There you go.
napper. No, you're good. You're good tonight. My brother was here last week and my husband kept giving him the elbow.
It's
Well,
relax.
thank you, Brother Eric. Would you like to do a short,
Well, we've done a few, but let's
whatever?
kind of put it all together. We'll conclude that way, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So start with a deep breath. Feel the temperature, feel the lungs. And what's happening, we're aware through our senses. We haven't done much since we relaxed the body, but acknowledge the your feet, let it go. Acknowledge your hands, let it go. Acknowledge your chest and your back, let it go. Feel the relaxation, your natural state at peace. And now bring back that awareness that we created. Someone who cared for us, someone who loved us. Feel the love. And hold that thought. I'm loving, I'm loved, and this is my true natural state of fullness. Take a deep breath of love. Hold that picture, that awareness, and that feeling. Know this is how you hydrate spiritually. One more thought, the joy, the happiness. Enter into that experience. And know that this is our nature, what we've been looking for, and who we are. Have that thought, have that awareness, have that experience, and feel the self once again. We are a soul. We have a body. We are peace. I am peace. Om Shanti. Thanks for coming. Do well. Drink much.
No spiritual dehydration.
That's right.
And the last thing I want to do is wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day. May you be blessed with much love and good thoughts. Blessings. So we have some Toli for you and a blessing. Thank you, brother.
Great.
Beautiful, beautiful session. Thank you. Om Shanti, Om Shanti Zoom.